Tonight on 7 News, breaking right now. Israel launches strikes on the Iranian capital, Tehran. We're live to Chris Reason in Tel Aviv.
Here, a brutal Bondi stabbing, all sparked by an e-bike, 2 boys charged.
Dramatic terror arrest, an armed white supremacist taken down, allegedly plotting attacks on Australian targets.
A defiant Bill Clinton says he saw nothing and did nothing wrong in his Epstein evidence.
From the Sullivans to Play School, honouring Australian acting icon Lorraine Bailey.
Track queen Maccabi Diva dies suddenly, tributes for the 3-time Melbourne Cup winner.
And the NRL feeling the love in Las Vegas in the final countdown to the season opener.
Live from Sydney, this is 7 News with Angie, Asimus and Michael Usher.
Good evening. We begin with breaking news. In just the last few minutes, Israel has launched strikes on the Iranian capital of Tehran, and sirens have rung out in Tel Aviv.
We go there right now, live to Chief Reporter Chris Reason. Chris, good evening from here. Israel is expecting to come under attack.
It is, guys. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. We know that just a short time ago, 5:13 p.m. your time, 8:13 a.m. our time, alerts rang out across the entire nation of Israel, and these alert warnings were sent to every single mobile phone in the country, warning people to prepare for a possible retaliatory strike. Now, the indication being there that this war is underway. The first shots have been fired. We haven't got official confirmation yet on who has fired them, whether it's America or Israel itself, but sources from within the Pentagon seem to be indicating it's an American-led operation at this stage. Now, you can see there on the screens, there are already pictures coming out of Tehran, Iran, showing smoke on the horizon. Various buildings have been targeted and destroyed. We're getting more and more of that sort of information from social media. Now, this attack launched on a holy day here in Israel, the day of Shabbat, a day of rest. Well, not for the IDF. They're now on high alert. The warnings keep coming through our phones, telling people to stay in proximity to their bunkers, their shelters, for the eventual expectation that there will be a retaliation of some sort from Iran. This comes, of course, guys, after days of tension and build-up here across the Middle East. Landing at Andrews Air Force Base, Donald Trump lands a blow to hopes of an Iranian breakthrough.
Well, we haven't made a final decision. We're not exactly happy with the way they're negotiating. Yesterday,
Claims of significant progress at the Geneva talks, not for the Commander-in-Chief.
Look, we have the greatest military anywhere in the world. There's nothing close. I'd love not to use it, but sometimes you have to.
Speculation an attack was imminent after America's ambassador to Israel sent an email to staff saying those wishing to leave should do so today. With America's biggest and most modern carrier now in position off Israel and dozens more refuelling aircraft arriving in the capital's main airport, tensions for residents are soaring.
Show me the gun, the weapon. It's only a gun, but still, on October 7, it probably would not be helpful.
Father of 3, Yoni Asher, now carries a gun.
I can't leave home without it. I feel exposed. I feel like I am naked.
2 of his daughters were kidnapped in the October 7 Hamas terror raids and held for 49 days. He says the constant conflict makes their recovery impossible. Now, Iran.
I can see the fear in their eyes all the time. The whole thing was a nightmare, apocalypse, living hell.
They won't be alone. More details have also emerged into Iran's negotiation tactics, including an offer to open up its vast oil and gas reserves to the US, even buy its civilian aircraft, turning the Geneva talks into a transaction. In exchange, they want sanctions lifted, though it may be too late to be making demands now. In Israel, Chris Reason, 7 News.
And of course, that is a developing story, so we'll be returning to Chris Reason throughout the bulletin. Back home for now, though, an argument over an e-bike has taken a violent turn at Bondi Beach. 2 teenagers allegedly stabbing a stranger, leaving him seriously injured.
Now, both boys were on bail at the time. It's another terrifying example of Sydney's out-of-control knife crime.
Lights and sirens on the streets of Bondi. A 54-year-old treated for multiple stab wounds, 2 teenagers on the run.
This is going to be a crime scene, okay?
The man got into an argument and then a physical fight with a 15-year-old riding an e-bike on Gould Street just after 9 o'clock last night.
The original altercation was just on his own.
The boy then returned with a 17-year-old who police say was armed with a knife, allegedly stabbing the man multiple times before taking off. The victim was taken to St Vincent's Hospital in a serious but stable condition. Police started searching for the blade and the teenagers who were arrested a few streets away.
Terrible. I am afraid to go out.
The 2 teenagers face Parramatta Children's Court today, charged with multiple offences, including intent to cause grievous bodily harm. Both were allegedly on bail for other crimes.
I mean, that's just ridiculous and horrible, and what kind of values, and also the group mentality of that, that's shocking.
Sam Payne, 7 News.
Alleged plans for a major terror attack on home soil have been dramatically intercepted with the arrest of a heavily armed white supremacist in Western Australia.
Federal police and our spy agency say the 20-year-old was plotting to target mosques as well as police and government buildings. What they uncovered at his parents' property has shocked investigators.
Inside this family home an hour northeast of Perth is where police allege Jason Joseph Michaels was plotting to commit mass murder.
Sadly, there is a very, very, very small minority that seek to do harm to all of us.
Police say the 20-year-old accused white supremacist was radicalised online. Officers arrested him on Thursday, a month after learning of an encrypted group chat.
It's sad that happens in Australia. It's particularly sad when it happens in Perth.
Officers seized 7 firearms, enough ammunition for a mass casualty event, knives, a ballistic vest, gas masks and lock-picking tools. But most disturbing, a manifesto allegedly detailing plans of potential bombings and shootings at WA's Parliament House, police headquarters and mosques.
This was clearly an abhorrent, targeted, attempted terrorist act on the Muslim community.
A mosque in Perth CBD, the centre of another police investigation today, after white powder was found overnight. Investigators spent the last 2 days combing through every inch of this family home. Today, it's a very different story. Police have now left and the property is locked up, while Jason Michaels remains behind bars.
This early stage, all we can see is a group of like-minded, meaning white supremacist groups, talking about their hate for other people in our community. Our focus at the moment is to understand who's on that message group.
Rachel Tassica, 7 News.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, Sydney is once again on shark alert. Recent heavy rain has created perfect conditions for bull sharks, but despite the warnings, most of our beaches are still open.
In the middle of Sydney Harbour, a predator, tagged, released, now being tracked by authorities. But we can expect to see more sharks after Thursday and Friday's heavy rain.
We're asking people to be really careful and shark smart this weekend.
The water is murky with low visibility, perfect for bull sharks.
That leads to higher risk for shark activity closer to the shores.
Last month there were 4 bull shark attacks across the state in just 48 hours, including the fatal mauling of 12-year-old Nico Antic off Vaucluse. A day later, 27-year-old Andre de Ruyter lost part of his right leg when he was bitten at North Steyne. Today, the post-deluge conditions eerily similar. More than a dozen sharks detected off our coast today, from Ballina to Merimbula, including here in Sydney, a bull shark at North Steyne and North Narrabeen, with 3 beaches closed on the central and mid-north coast. But Sydney's beaches are still open.
With all the sharks around and the murky water, and that's a bit scary.
Although the sun is out, authorities are warning beachgoers not to be complacent. The water is murky from all the recent rainfall, and it's expected to stay that way all weekend and into next week. And even then, it's not time to let your guard down.
Bull sharks are staying around in our Sydney waterways until May.
Clementine Cuneo, 7 News.
I saw nothing and I did nothing wrong. That is what former US President Bill Clinton told Congress as they questioned him over his ties to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
But damning pictures in the Epstein files seemingly paint a different picture.
Former US President Bill Clinton hauled in for a closed-door grilling, later, on his terms, sharing his explanation.
So here's what I told the committee. First, I had no idea of the crimes Epstein was committing. I know what I saw, and more importantly, what I didn't see. And I know what I did, and more importantly, what I didn't do. I saw nothing and I did nothing wrong.
He was questioned for almost 6 hours about the many times he appears in the Epstein files, including trips on his private jet and this hot tub photograph.
Not only would I not have flown on his plane if I had any inkling of what he was doing, I would have turned him in myself and led the call for justice for his crimes.
The former US president was also asked about the current president's relationship with the late convicted sex offender.
And the president went on to say that the president, Trump, has never said anything to me to make me think he was involved, and he meant with Epstein.
Donald Trump, whose own ties to Epstein are under scrutiny, today appeared uneasy a former president was compelled to testify.
I don't like seeing him deposed, but, they certainly went after me a lot more than that.
Democrats argue today's deposition could pave the way for Trump to be next.
We are once again demanding that now President Trump, who was in the Epstein files almost more than anyone else besides Ghislaine Maxwell, answer our questions.
A video of Bill Clinton's deposition is expected to be released in the coming days.
I hope it will motivate everyone to go in front of Congress to say what they know.
In the United States, Miley Hogan, 7 News.
It's a rare actor who helps us smile, sympathise, learn and shape our national identity. But the legendary Lorraine Bailey was all of that for over 6 decades in Australian theatre and television. And sadly, we lost Lorraine today, aged 89.
She learned her craft right here on the harbour in Kirribilli's ensemble theatre in the late 50s, but was most famous for her starring TV roles in The Sullivans, Carson's Law and as an original presenter of Play School.
At the peak of her powers, Lorraine Bailey was appointment TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lorraine Bailey.
For 6 decades, audiences learned, cried and laughed with her.
I'll always have hope.
In the late 70s, Bailey was part of the national fabric, Australia's mum.
Oh, John, that isn't fair.
That's right, Mum. It isn't fair. Ah, Lorraine, well, I still call her Mum.
Her most famous role as Grace Sullivan helped rewrite the national identity.
In one of the most successful of all Australian series, The Sullivans.
It was a new type of series and set in the war years.
But we have to go to the hospital to make an identification.
But fame came at a cost.
It makes incredible demands on your private life. And after 2.5 years, I just needed a bit more.
Success found her again on Carson's Law.
Oh, don't be such a fool!
Where she played a feisty, very single-minded, liberated woman who was a lawyer.
It was a rare role at the time, but forging a path for others became a habit. She was one of the first actors to host Play School.
I'll put them down now. Come on, Henrietta.
Back at the Sydney Theatre where it all began, flags were at half-mast today. A tip of the hat to a 2-time Logie winner, remembered for more than her skill on stage and screen.
I mean, I'm really sad, we've lost a really good woman.
Lorraine Bailey was 89. Nick Etchells, 7 News.
Sydney's Oxford Street is buzzing tonight with 250,000 people expected to turn out for the annual Mardi Gras parade. Emily Francis is there among all those sequins and colour. Emily, there are high hopes that won't rain on their parade.
Yes, Angie, I think there is little that could dampen the spirits of the thousands of people here tonight, but in fact it is perfect conditions for a loud and proud celebration of love. The sequins are sparkling, the music is pumping and the parade lineup is beginning to take shape in just a little over an hour's time. More than 10,000 performers will roll their way down Oxford Street on more than 160 floats. One float that won't be taking part though is Pride in protest. They were banned from taking part less than 24 hours out after claiming a Jewish float supported genocide. But despite that, anticipation is building here by the minute, Angie, ahead of what is suspected to be a spectacular night here in Sydney.
It certainly looks it. Thank you, Emily.
Well, rugby league fans have well and truly taken over Las Vegas a day out from the NRL season opener.
Matt White is among them. Matt, they're taking in everything the city offers while they can.
Angie, Mush, I can tell you they are living it up right here, from flooding all of the bars and booking out hotels. It has literally become the centre of the rugby league universe here at the moment. It also means we've seen some unusual sights, like the footy fan who had a surprise wedding with Elvis as the celebrant and a Bulldogs legend as his best man.
In the wedding capital of the world, there's really only one way to say I do.
But it's also a commitment to be not only each other's lover, but above all and most importantly, Elvis's lover.
For Bulldogs tragic Steve and fellow Elvis lover Hayley, renewing their vows after 40 years with the King was a no-brainer.
I promise to be...
Winds it up like this, you're hunka burn.
hunka. Yeah!
It was a surprise for me. I wasn't expecting it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yes.
When did you find out?
Last week.
The biggest surprise...
Kiss your wife!
Steve's best man, Doggies legend Terry Lamb in his finest blue tie.
My friend of 44 years was the best man up until about 2 months ago.
He's a St George supporter, that's why. I have been best man for a couple of weddings, but not at Elvis days.
I was a bit concerned he'd be looking at Terry during the ceremony instead of gazing into my eyes.
The NRL in Vegas has gotten so big that the fans are starting to put on their own events like this one at Stadium Swim. A Facebook group started at the first Vegas round 3 years ago now boasts 16,000 members, organising events from all walks of life.
Over 1,000 people here today. We're rocking this pool. We've got DJ. It's happening.
Even the locals are jumping on board.
I've watched NFL my whole life, and once I got introduced to NRL, there was no way I could go back.
In Las Vegas, Jaleesa Raps, 7 News.
Guys, there is no doubt we have seen it all so far, the good, the bad, the bizarre, but it is getting close to game day. Coming up in sport, we'll hear from the coaches because they are thinking about the 2 points.
All right, we're looking forward to that on you, Matt. Thank you very much from Vegas. Time to check the weather now with Angelique. Opie. Angelique, good evening to you. Warm and mostly dry.
Indeed, we were also treated to some blue skies at times across Sydney as well. It did feel warm in that sunshine. The mercury climbing to 27 degrees in the city, 26 in the west, with light showers in parts this morning. Mostly settled along the state's coast, 25 in Port Macquarie and at Newcastle, but a fair few showers this morning south of Coffs Harbour. Inland, a severe weather warning has been issued for heavy rainfall for the lower and upper western districts. We will see some scattered showers to end the weekend. I'll have those details in the 7-day forecast later.
All right, Angel, thank you very much for that. Well, next, the death of an Aussie champion. Triple Melbourne Cup winner Makybe Diva dies suddenly.
Fire erupts, the mission to save dozens of residents from an aged care home.
Tragedy in Milan. A tram leaves the tracks going straight into a building.
A crocodile in Newcastle triggers snappy intervention.
And a mammoth effort after a health scare for 109-year-old Taronga tortoise Esmeralda. Dozens of elderly residents had to be evacuated last night after a fire broke out at an aged care home in Melbourne's southeast. 32 residents and 8 staff members were moved to a park across the road from the Elstonwick facility as firefighters worked to contain that blaze. 2 residents and a nurse were taken to hospital. The fire isn't being treated as suspicious. Australian sport is tonight mourning the death of the great Makybe Diva, a horse of a lifetime who won a record 3 consecutive Melbourne Cups.
The mighty mare took the nation on a remarkable ride, witnessing a champion become a legend.
It's hard enough to win 1 Melbourne Cup. Only one horse has won 3.
But a champion becomes a legend!
2005, Makybe Diva's finest hour, the completion of a stunning Flemington trifecta.
She's responsible for singularly the most important moment in the history of racing.
and that's that third Melbourne Cup.
A stayer as good as the racing world has ever seen. The star mare passing away peacefully this morning after a brief battle with colic, a month shy of her 28th birthday. A symbol of national pride for owner Tony Santic. From the day she came into our lives, she was never just a racehorse, she was family. She gave us joy every single day.
The Melbourne Cup was the platform for her to really tell the world that she was a champion, and she'll be very sadly missed.
Peerless in the racing world, her resume legendary. A Cox Plate to go with her 3 Melbourne Cups, an Australian and Sydney Cup, named Australian Racehorse of the Year in 2005. Enshrined in bronze at her happy hunting ground, Makybe Diva's Flemington statue turning into a place of mourning for racing lovers, while she also stands proudly in Santic's hometown of Port Lincoln in South Australia.
Makybe Diva will be one of the first horses remembered, and oh so fondly.
Theodoropoulos, 7 News.
A plane carrying hundreds of new banknotes has crashed in Bolivia, killing 15 people and injuring another 30. Local authorities say the military cargo plane landed, skidded off the runway and onto a busy road. Police unleashed tear gas on the crowds trying to steal money from that wreckage. They've been warned the notes haven't been given serial numbers yet, so they're not valid, and trying to use them is a crime.
And in Milan, a tram has derailed and crashed, killing at least 2 people and injuring 40 more. As you can see there, dash cam captured the moment the tram came around a corner on its side and ploughed straight into a building. One of the people who died is thought to be a male pedestrian.
Now, here's something we're not used to seeing in this part of the country: a crocodile casually swimming in a pond in Newcastle.
Josh, I'm literally behind Bunnings looking at a crocodile.
And yes, it's real. Police confirming they were called and saw it for themselves, but they kept their distance, instead calling in the experts to retrieve the reptile. It's suspected the croc was being kept as a pet and then dumped. Next in 7 News, the new Instagram alerts to parents that could save young lives.
000 crisis, the phones that can no longer call for help.
Talk about generous, why the proceeds from this Coogee unit sale have gone straight to charity.
The historic rocket launch that could lead to 2-hour flights from Sydney to London.
And ahead in sport, live from Las Vegas, why the Bulldogs have kept Lockie Galvin out of the spotlight here.
Australia's telcos are switching off tens of thousands of phones that are unable to connect to 000.
An industry leader tells Seven's podcast The Issue the public should heed warnings to update their devices, and some providers are offering financial help.
A culture of carelessness at Australia's telcos revealed at parliamentary hearings this week, but the industry's peak body says give it more time.
The mums and dads at home worried about the phone network. Can they trust Australia's telcos?
They can. Telcos are throwing everything at this to make sure the 000 service is as reliable as it can be.
Luke Coleman tells Seven's podcast The Issue the public shouldn't ignore warnings to perform software updates.
That gives you the best possible chance that if you are in an emergency, that your device will be able to call 000.
The 3G shutdown and last year's deadly Optus outage, uncovering major issues with old phones that need updating or replacing. The list includes the Samsung Galaxy A, S, J and Note series and iPhone 8, 8 Plus, X and SE First Gen. If your older device isn't updated with the latest operating system within 28 days, the law requires your phone be blocked.
For people who have a device that can't be updated, do you think the device maker or the telcos owe them a refund for the phone?
Particularly for consumers who may be facing financial hardship, for example. We've seen the telcos have been offering discounts.
The Communications Minister will imminently launch a review into 000, a system built in the 1960s.
We cannot ignore the searing experiences of 2025. They necessitate a change in how we operate in 2026.
It's not fit for purpose, it's not fit for the modern day, and it's failing Australians.
In an age where staying connected has never been more important. Josh Martin, 7 News.
For Josh's full interview with Luke Coleman, you can go to 7news.com.au/the issue, or download Listener or wherever you get your podcasts.
Instagram is doing more to protect young lives. It will soon send alerts to parents if their teen is repeatedly searching for suicide or self-harm related content. Those using Instagram supervision tools will receive a message via an in-app notification, WhatsApp, email or SMS. They'll explain that the searches have occurred and provide some guidance. For anyone struggling, there is help available. You can contact Lifeline. That's 13 11 14.
Now, this could be quite incredible. Imagine being able to fly from Sydney to London in just 2 hours. Today, an Australian company took a major step toward making that a reality.
It successfully launched its aircraft in America, sending it shooting across the sky at 5 times the speed of sound.
At a NASA launch site in Virginia.
3, 2, 1, ignition, liftoff.
Australian ingenuity that's out of this world. Inside this rocket, precious cargo.
A textbook launch off the pad.
The DART AE, a 3D printed hypersonic aircraft, a world first, designed and assembled in Queensland.
Australia's leading the way in hypersonics really through this, aren't you?
Definitely. The rocket roaring to the edge of space where it opened, releasing the DART. Its hydrogen-powered scramjet engines igniting, sending it racing to Mach 5, or 5 times the speed of sound.
Our DART flew in the way we had hoped, and we got a whole heap of data to look at.
The flight was brief, only about 10 minutes, but long enough to test the technology and gather invaluable information before the aircraft ditched into the Atlantic Ocean as planned.
We are absolutely over the moon.
This mission and the data it'll provide will be instrumental in helping to make commercial hypersonic flights a reality, where the journey from Sydney to London could be done in just 2 hours.
That's insane.
It is insane, and it'll be awesome.
Well, with testing and experimental flights like this tonight being underway, we're getting closer and closer to that reality.
The launch attracted a big audience. Dozens of rocket chasers coming from across America.
I came from Florida, a 12-hour drive. This is my 410th launch I've been to.
And it's just absolutely amazing. And for me, it captivates, the imagination.
Witnessing a defining moment for Australia's aerospace industry. In Wallops Island, Virginia, Rob Scott, 7 News.
New data has uncovered boom spots for Sydney property buyers, from high-growth units to cheaper regional options. But today, it was a remarkable auction result in Coogee that took the spotlight, every cent going to charity.
This Coogee apartment, a deceased estate of Charles Robinson, will change many lives for the better.
But he just decided that all the family was comfortable enough and that the money was better going to education, aged care.
Sold today for $1.9 million, all going straight to charity.
We're just in the process of selling the apartment and all of his other assets, which will be then split between 3 charities.
A two-bedder facing the water in the heart of a booming suburb.
Coogie's probably caught up to Bondi as far as prices go. You're close to the city, you've got the light rail in Randwick.
New data revealing other new Sydney hotspots: Eastern Creek, Wilberforce, Freeman's Reach, Bellevue Hill and Dover Heights, with strong price growth. Units in Miller, Cartwright, Sylvania and Heathcote.
These areas are generally relatively affordable, but I think a lot of buyers are looking for transport connectivity. So areas along the train line, along transport routes, and also areas that are well serviced by amenity, of course, are going to be popular.
Elsewhere in the state, Moree, Branxton, Cobar and North Albury. A price tag under $1 million or sea change, pushing more and more first-time Sydney buyers away from the city and into smaller towns.
Internal migration is favouring regional New South Wales now.
Angelique, Opie, 7 News.
Well, next here in 7 News, we'll return to Chief Reporter Chris Reason in Tel Aviv. Israel is launching an attack on Iran right now. These new pictures are just in. Plus,
an SOS from our aged care workers concerned about our retirees.
New plans for Trump Tower headed down under. The
sudden death of a true rock and roll legend.
And in sport from Las Vegas, Eli Katoa's vow as he talks for the first time since his horror head injuries.
OK, more on our breaking news out of Tel Aviv, where Israel has just launched a preemptive attack on Iran.
Live to Chris Reason on the ground in Israel's capital. Chris, what more do we know about this situation in Tehran?
Good evening, guys. We've just had confirmation from the United States that Donald Trump has confirmed that they are involved in leading these attacks, but we also know from the Israeli Defence Minister that they are operating hand in hand together, the Israelis and the Americans, in what the Defence Minister called a preemptive attack on Iran. Now, we're showing you pictures here, the first pictures from distributed via social media from on the ground in Tehran, Iran, showing multiple sites. We're counting so far about 30 buildings, most of them military ones, the ICRG, that have been targeted by the Americans and the Israelis in these strikes. We're also hearing, guys, that the personal home of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has also been hit and flattened. Now, we know he's not there. He was moved out of there months ago to a secret location, a bunker somewhere outside of the capital, but still, these strikes are personal. Now, here in Israel, we're braced for what Israeli Defence Forces say is an expected retaliatory attack. So far, there is no evidence at all that the Iranians have fired anything back. Right now, for Israelis, the entire nation has been getting the series of phone messages like this one, telling people to stay in position, stay in place and be beside their bunkers. Ours is just outside this door. Israel waits for retaliation.
Major developments there. Chris Reason in Tel Aviv, thank you for that. Well, here, Australia's aged care sector is already facing growing pressure from an ageing population and chronic staff shortages. Now a new problem threatens to make things worse, with thousands of care workers nearing retirement just as demand for services accelerates.
Registered nurse and aged care worker Trish Forbes has been looking after the elderly for decades. She's 70 years old now and still working up to 30 hours a week.
I'm trying to ease out of it now, but I find it very hard because they don't always have the staff to cover the shifts, because if I don't fill it, no one will.
Australia's older population is growing fast. The demand for care is set to surge.
The first baby boomer starts to hit 80 this year.
But new research suggests another growing problem. Like Trish, about a quarter of healthcare workers are nearing retirement themselves.
The workforce challenge is really significant, and then that threatens access and service reliability and just, I guess, the livability.
Experts warn the crisis will worsen in the years ahead.
By about 2050, we're going to be about 400,000 care workers short in this country.
Industry leaders say one solution is a dedicated care visa, allowing more overseas workers into aged care, while Australia trains more people locally.
Other countries have it. The UK has it, European countries have their equivalent of it, and so people looking at Australia are going to say, I'm going to go to one of the countries that makes this easier for me and not come to Australia where it's harder.
Trish says wages must go up to entice carers and younger workers.
We need more people just to say, yeah, this is a worthwhile industry to get into and stay in and advance.
The future of Australians depend on it. Jennifer Beshwati, 7 News.
The developer behind the proposed Trump Tower on the Gold Coast has released a new video promoting the development. It shows a pool with a swim-up bar, beachside cabanas and an outdoor area overlooking the sand. Crowning the building, a 360-degree digital screen broadcasting the Trump name. The developer, who's twice gone bankrupt, posted Trump is happening and we do know how to build towers. 100,000 people have so far signed a petition against it.
The music industry and a whole lot of fans are mourning the passing of early 60s hitmaker Neil Sedaka. He was the singer-songwriter behind hits including Breaking Up Is Hard to Do, Love Will Keep Us Together and, of course, Calendar Girl.
I love my calendar girl. Yeah, sweet calendar girl.
His family say they're devastated by what they describe as his sudden passing. Neil Sedaka was 86.
Still to come, at 135 kilos and 109 years old, a health scare for Taronga's Esmeralda, and her checkup takes quite the army.
First came the new fish market. Now see what's planned for Blackwattle Bay. Don't miss those stories shortly here on 7 News.
First, Matt's back with sport from Las Vegas. Matt, the players have had their first look at Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah, and it is quite something. It cost $2.7 billion. It'll become the centre of the rugby league world tomorrow. But the Bulldogs only had one question today when checking it out. That's coming up. Plus, the latest from the NRL coaches set to kick off the season with one big rule change. And Sam and Mary fit and firing as the Matildas eye Asian Cup glory.
Inside the mind of Australia's killer narcissists, their crimes shock the nation. Now, a special 7 News investigation uncovers the disturbing behaviour they all shared before they killed.
Welcome back to Las Vegas, where NRL players have been right in the spotlight, of course, all week, except for Lockie Galvin. The Bulldogs have deliberately kept the halfback out of the media frenzy, but Cameron Ciraldo says he'll eventually have to deal with being one of the game's biggest talking points.
A first look inside the mighty Allegiant Stadium for the 4 NRL teams. The Bulldogs only had one question in mind: could Matt Burton hit the roof?
I reckon he can hit one of those speakers. No. He's got that hammy thing to worry about, so he'll just lay low today.
Almost forgotten amongst the Vegas frenzy, the Dogs intentionally kept Lockie Galvin under wraps all week.
Oh, I didn't realise he was the only guy that hasn't spoken. I don't think he realises it either. I don't think he's going out craving to speak to anyone.
The young halfback has barely been heard from since his move from the West Tigers last year, but the Dogs know it can't last.
There was a lot of speculation around him last year, and if he wants to be the player that he wants to be, he's going to have to deal with that in the future.
Terrific young player, had an enormous amount of media pressure put on him last year, and probably a lot of it was undeserved.
Before they've even faced the Dogs, Shane Flanagan won't sugarcoat the Dragons' premiership chances.
I'd love to say that we're good enough to, with the big dogs, to go at it this year. We'll win a lot of footy games this year, but I'm just realistic that don't set stupid expectations.
All the talk around the night's three-way halves battle would make anyone's head spin.
I just felt the best option for our team was to go with Dylan and Sandon, go with Dylan and Sharpley for this week. Sandon will come off the bench. Confusing myself.
As well as the bright lights of Allegiant Stadium, teams also need to get used to the NRL's new 6-man extended bench.
I think it's a great new rule to come in. I think it gives flexibility for the game.
It's going to be different, possibly for other teams more than us.
Yeah, we definitely thought how we use it, and it's going to change the game.
In Las Vegas, Jaleesa Rapps, 7 News.
I'll be back. That's the promise from Storm enforcer Ellie Katoa after suffering career-threatening head injuries that led to emergency brain surgery. Out this season, Katoa spoke for the first time since playing for Tonga last November, copping 3 head clashes, then rushed to hospital to ease bleeding on the brain.
No symptoms. So I'm doing great at the moment, and I will definitely come back. And I'm just so grateful that I have that kind of mindset, and that I will definitely do whatever I can do to come back.
And the Perth Bears buying spree continues. Sharks and former Blues origin centre Sifa Talakai starting a 3-year deal when the Bears join the competition in 2027. Georgia Vohl's second one-day ton guided Australia's women to a dominant victory over India in Hobart last night. The 22-year-old almost fell short by the barest margin, dropped on 99.
Not the most conventional way to bring it up. It was a chance down leg side.
It's obviously not the most ideal way you'd like to bring up the 100, but we take it.
Australia chased down the 252-run target inside 37 overs to win by 5 wickets, leading the multi-format series 6 points to 4. All but over knee injuries, Sam Kerr and Mary Fowler will play for the Matildas in tomorrow's Asian Cup opener against the Philippines. Kerr back as captain and back to where it all began in her hometown, Perth.
The big guns, Mary Fowler and Sam Kerr, back for tomorrow's Asian Cup opener. Kerr captain in her hometown.
We all get to play in front of family and friends, but when you do it at a major tournament, it's extra special. First time being a mum playing in Perth, so that's special, and I'm not injured.
Her first tournament for the Matildas since the 2023 World Cup.
What a goal!
Kerr missed almost 2 years due to a ruptured ACL, now back playing for Chelsea, almost 100% fit.
85 and above. Don't want to say I'm at 100 yet.
Fowler suffered a similar knee injury last April. Slow steps on a long path, fast-tracked via recent game time for Manchester City.
Being out for the last 9.5 months, I didn't know if I would get back in time, so just really grateful to get this opportunity.
Kerr's 69 international goals, the most by an Australian. This her 5th Asian Cup. The 32-year-old winning the tournament way back in 2010 when only 16.
And that still, to this day, is one of the best moments in my footballing career. I know how much this team wants to win something together.
The Chillies sent the nation nuts when they made the World Cup semi-finals.
Right in front of your face that, like, you're playing for the country. It felt like you were out there for something bigger than yourself.
Now it's all the way for the Asian Cup.
We might go a little bit deeper in the tournaments, maybe one better.
Andrew McKinlay, 7 News.
And guys, just to wrap it up, I can tell you there's plenty of fans still out and about here tonight, so getting a late one tonight. But those players, they are tucked into bed because the focus is now on game day. You can feel it getting close.
You betcha, it's game on. All right, Matt, thank you very much for that from Vegas.
One of Taronga Zoo's favourite visitor attractions is on the mend tonight after zookeepers noticed she was worse for wear.
109-year-old tortoise Esmeralda made a rare trip out of her sanctuary thanks to a pretty mammoth effort by her carers.
She's already lived 109 years, but Taronga Zoo's Esmeralda wants every single one to count, now with a health checkup like no other. The CT machines at Sash Vets in North Ryde able to accommodate every kilo.
They have a large enough machine and a table that's big enough to take 135 kg tortoise.
Zookeepers noticed swelling on her neck, trouble breathing and changed eating habits. Concerned, they wheeled Esmeralda into the doctor's room.
Findings show that her food pipe, basically the area that she intakes her food and it goes to her stomach, that pipe before the stomach seems to be a bit enlarged.
So food builds up and empties slower than normal. Aldabra giant tortoises like Esmeralda can live more than 150 years. You don't want her next 4 decades being lived in pain.
Now the next steps are to wait for further reports to see if we need to do a surgery.
She'll be back at Taronga Zoo in no time, where she's been stationed since 1947.
It's not a small thing to take a 109-year-old, 135 kg tortoise off-site.
But it'll be a slow recovery. Rex Quayle, 7 News.
Blackwattle Bay will be transformed into a waterfront precinct under a new redevelopment. The state government announcing Mirvac will help create a 5K harbour walk from Woolloomooloo to Rozelle Bay and a waterfront promenade. 1,400 homes will also pop up near the new fish market.
It is time to check the forecast with Angelique. Opie now. Angelique, light rain on the horizon.
Angie, tomorrow, wet in parts before clearing Monday. The 7-day forecast coming up next. Grey skies likely to end the weekend with showers in the mix as well. A drizzle across parts of the city now with light winds. It's currently 24 degrees. An easterly flow of moisture has resulted in scattered showers, a fair amount of rain in parts of northern New South Wales. Warning areas for heavy rainfall in inland parts of the state. You can see those rain cells passing through along the New South Wales coast. A high pressure system extends a ridge across the east, bringing settled conditions. The airstream of easterly winds occasionally bringing rain. Around the country, 28 in Brisbane and a shower or two, cloudy in Canberra, rain in Melbourne, 27 in Hobart and Adelaide, sunshine for Perth. As for New South Wales, isolated showers along the east coast, 27 degrees from Lismore down to Newcastle. As for Sydney, showers likely in the morning and afternoon, temperatures between about 25 to 27 degrees, slightly cooler in Springwood, 20 degrees in Katoomba. On coastal waters, easterly 10 to 15 knots, tending northeasterly in the evening. A forecast top of 27 tomorrow, a medium chance of showers, most likely in the morning and afternoon. The same in the west. Monday looking partly cloudy, a slight chance of a shower in the evening. 28 in the city, 30 in the west. A possible shower on Tuesday with light winds. 31 degrees from Wednesday to Friday in the west. Temperatures in the high 20s in the city. Possible showers at the end of the week, but looking like a very warm start to autumn.
Certainly does. Thank you, Angel. And that is 7 News for this Saturday.
From all our team, thanks for your company. Have a good night.
Good night.